indication that you guys are there. Okay, what we're going to be doing today is having a question and answer session. Just want to give you a chance to ask me anything that you might want to ask about this channel or where we're going. You can see that we've got a new Arduino tutorial series going. You can see that we are releasing two Arduino lessons a week. I like to kind of do them ahead and have them queued up, and that way if I get busy with something, I can keep new material coming. But I do not know if anybody can see me or not. So if you are out there, if you are listening, please leave me a comment. Okay. We've got Ankit Neji. Sorry if I do not say that right. Okay. Yeah. Mahmoud Salem, Robert Bonin. Okay, we're starting to get some people in here. And just wanted to kind of chat with you guys about the channel and about where we're going and some of the stuff that's coming up. I think that if you've been looking, you can see that I've got a lot of Arduino tutorials queued up for you. Let's see in the ones that are released, how many lessons we have released to date. It looks like we have released 7 tutorials so far, and I have a total of 52 tutorials that are made, and so there should be some exciting stuff coming down the pike. Wanted to kind of talk to you guys about a few things. Really enjoyed the comments. I read every comment that you put on these lessons. A couple of things I was going to give you a heads up on is, since this channel has 100,000 subscribers, I really cannot do debugging or personal consultation, because a lot of times I'll get a comment like, I did it and it didn't work. Well, then I don't know why it didn't work. And then if I ask you questions, right, I would just be totally consumed with trying to help individuals, and I would not be able to continue to make new lessons. And so what I try to focus on is I try to do the project as detailed and carefully as I can, so that if you watch the video and rewatch it, you would have all the information that you need in order to be successful with the project. But what I can't do is I can't give individual coaching or consultation or looking at your code and trying to figure out what doesn't work. Does that make sense? Okay, I hope so. We've got some people out there. Okay, if this is going to be a question and answer session, I need someone to ask a question. Hope you have your coffee. Waiting for some questions about the channel. Engineering in general, anything that you would like to know. I guess I can show you, this is one of the projects that we have coming up on the tutorial and the tutorial series. I think it's pretty cool. What I like about this is, notice that there are no external connections, that we start working towards building completely standalone systems. Hello, Rob. Very good. How are you today? I am doing very good. We got our first question. That's good. Rob, you sort of took the risk and asked the first question. Hopefully we'll get some more questions going here. I talked a little bit about how I handle comments. You know, I'm not able to give individual consulting or sort of one-on-one debugging of your code. I try to do it where if somebody is watching the video and being careful, you can do the project without my help. And that allows me to focus on making new videos as opposed to giving individual troubleshooting help to people. The other thing I want to give you guys a heads up on is, I really, really appreciate your comments. I read all of them. I respond to as many as I can. But one of the things is, I'm noticing a lot people are putting links in the comments. And when you put a link in, I really do not have the time to figure out whether you're just spamming the forum or not. Or like sometimes people will put links with Amazon affiliates on it, or they'll put links back to their site and stuff. So if you want me to take your comments seriously, don't put links in it, because there's just too much spam going on. Okay, Bora, hello. Do you think to make an ARM tutorial series, maybe with Blue Pill or STM development boards? Okay, that is not something that I really know very much about. and also I want to do things. If I'm going to invest in a series, I want to do something that there would be a large user base for. And so in some of these more esoteric, less used things, I could figure it out and I could do it. But then if there's not going to be many thousands of people that are benefiting from it, then I would probably be better off focusing on something else. Let's see, Mayank Gunker, hello, very good, welcome. Hope you'll ask a question. Okay, hope you'll ask a question. So this series, you know, my first series of Arduinos got kind of old and was not that great at production quality. And so this one, I'm really working on the production quality and also incorporating a lot of the things that I learned from the earlier video series. So hopefully that will be useful. If I was going to move to a different platform after the Arduino, I would probably be really tempted to do something on the ESP32. The one thing about the ESP32 series is it seems like it's going a lot of different directions. There's one version or one sort of stream where people are making it act like the Arduino, and so it's like interacting with an Arduino, but it's an ESP32. Another people are using kind of like MicroPython, and another Python, and it seems like MicroPython and CircuitPython are not exactly the same thing. So I haven't done an ESP32 series yet because I just really do not know what to what to do there, what direction to go. Okay, we got a question in NTEL PLC. Okay, hi sir. Hello, welcome. And then Arvind Krishman, yo, back to you. Okay, you guys throw out some questions for me as far as the channel, where we're going. Engineering in general, this is your chance to get some advice on having a successful engineering career. Anything you want to ask, you're welcome to ask here. So we've talked about moving forward with Arduino tutorials. Again, this is something that you'll get to in about lesson 50. And what you see here is a very neat build and something where we're trying to get away from using these male-to-male jumper wires, because when you got something with a whole lot of connections to make, it's hard to do it that way. You want to go to these short, straight connectors, and then you also want to start trying to get everything on the board. And one of the things that you can see is that while we have the Arduino Uno from the kit, at some point you really want to move to an Arduino Nano. And let me see if I can get this to focus. Okay, and you can see here, let me get a little bit out of your way. You can see that with the Arduino Nano, the advantage is I can plug the Nano directly into the breadboard, and then all the connections can be made with those short, straight wires. And then I end up with something like this that you can walk around and carry. And so I kind of think that's neat. And that's the direction that the channel is going. We're going to be making a little bit more complicated projects and things where we take them a little bit more to the prototype level, something that you could walk around with. Okay, we got a couple of questions here. When will the next tutorial be released? It will be released tomorrow at 10 a.m. Texas time. And so I try to release the tutorials Tuesdays and Thursdays. Some people get on there and say, you got 50 tutorials and you made them private. What are you trying to do? You're trying to sell us something? No, I'm not trying to sell you something. But if I release 50 tutorials all at once, it's going to overwhelm people, and they're just going to, like, this guy spamming me, unsubscribe from the channel. And also it would be hard to keep up. So what I want to do is I want to release 2 a week, so those that are following along would be able to follow along with me. So expect tomorrow the next tutorial to be released. Okay. Chanchal Kumar, hello, you're awesome. Well, you're awesome too. Thank you for that nice comment. I'm a mechatronic engineer. This is Ali Aden. I'm a mechatronic engineer student from Turkey. I want to improve myself about software of robotics. What should I do for that? You should continue to learn. Watch all the tutorials that you can on YouTube. I'm not trying to plug my channel, but what I like about my channel is it's not just a random hit and miss things. I do things methodically. I have a methodical series on Fusion 360. Take that. A methodical series on Raspberry Pi. Take that. The Arduino. Take that. And then if you're looking at channels other than mine, look at the same thing where there is a series of tightly interrelated tutorials on a given subject. Too much of the stuff on YouTube is just hit and run. Also, I think a lot of the stuff on YouTube, it's more about someone showing off how smart they are and what they can do rather than teaching you how to do something. There are a lot of people that are way smarter than I am, and there's a lot of people that can do a lot more with the Arduino than I can and other things like the Raspberry Pi. But what I can do is I can teach, and I know what it is to struggle in learning something, and so I can help you and take you through things step by step. Okay. All right. Mayank says he is excited to wait for tomorrow. Bora Kalersi, I'm sorry, I'm slaughtering these names. I'm an electronic engineer student, second class. I'm working with Arduino, Raspberry Pis, and microcontrollers. However, I don't know what I can do after school. Do you have a suggestion? Well, get a job. Is that what you're asking? Get a job. And people are always looking for good programmers and good hardware people. People who can troubleshoot. I mean, more than anything else, what I hope you learn on this is I hope you learn how to troubleshoot your projects, because a lot of times someone will come up and say, well, it's not working. And I'll say, well, what's it doing? And they'll say, it's not working. I say, no, it's doing exactly what you told it to do. It does exactly what you tell it to do. Now go figure out what you're telling it that it's doing that you don't want it to do. So learn to troubleshoot. Okay. Rob, are you a self-taught engineer or did you learn engineering in school? I have a bachelor's degree in electrical engineering from the University of Texas. I graduated #1 in my class out of about 500. And then I went on to Stanford and I got a master's degree in electrical engineering from Stanford. I went to work for the national laboratories and I worked my way up to an executive position. I was responsible for 500 scientists and engineers, and I had one of the largest R&D groups in the country. Had some very good inventions and patents, and so I left the national laboratories with a group of really smart people. We started our own Silicon Valley company, and we worked on developing nanotechnology projects. Kind of got tired of the startup world after 7 years. It's really, really very, very intense. And so I retired to enjoy the good life. I retired at about 45 years of age, moved to the country to enjoy the good life. I got tired of being retired, and then I started teaching high school, which is what I am doing now. So that was the answer of, did I learn in school? Yes, I did. And then Musa, I will use your first name. Hello, I am Musa from Madrid. Hey, shout out from to Madrid. As another video series, I want to know about the usage of the oscilloscope and function generator. Thank you so much for your efforts. Yeah, that is really needed. And there's something I'm really interested in is that, you know, the thing about the Arduino is you can do anything with the Arduino. And so there's kind of a feeling like, well, just program it, just do the Arduino, hook things up and program it. So imagine that you wanted to make a remote control. Okay, you want to make a remote control to control something. You could do that with the Arduino, have a infrared LED and then have a button pad and an Arduino, and you could make the Arduino do anything you wanted as far as remote. Well, why not just do things that way? Well, the problem is if you're making a real product, it doesn't just come down to engineering, it comes down to cost. And if you have the cost of incorporating a microcontroller into something that you're going to be making a bazillion of, it's too expensive. You know, pennies matter, fraction of a cent matter in real semiconductor products. And so you want to do it not with a microcontroller. If you can, you want to do it with digital logic, AND gates and OR gates and NAND gates and NOR gates. So what I'd really like to do, I'd like to do a series on digital logic design, where you learn how to go in and start really using logic and not just jumping into a microcontroller or microprocessor for everything that you want to do. And then what I would also like to do with that is kind of get into, okay, how do you use a logic analyzer and how do you use an oscilloscope? I think in an upcoming lesson, I do show you a little bit with the oscilloscope, but I think that's a real good suggestion and something that I would like to do. Yeah, oscilloscope and function generator. I need to really do that. I think that's a good suggestion. Bora from Turkey, in our country, embedded system engineering is a little risky. What do you mean by that? A little risky, like if you did that, then you're not going to get a job, or if you did that, they're going to put you in jail. I'm not sure what kind of risk you are talking about. Okay. I am looking for, I'm working my way down these comments. If I had someone in the control room, I would be able to do this better. Okay, Ali Aiden, is Linux important for robotics? I think it is. In robotics, a lot of times there's something called the Robotic Operating System, or ROS. And I got a robot and I started playing with ROS and I just got so frustrated I could not make it work well. And so I've been a little bit frustrated with robotics. What I love about the Arduino and electronics, they work perfectly. And for a few dollars, you can get the same components that are going on, you know, SpaceX devices. It's just like you can get premium electronics for low cost, so you do things that work real well. When you get into robotics, the type of robotic elements that you can afford in a home type of environment tend to not be real good, so I get like things that constantly disappoint me. Okay, so like your channel, it is presented at a pace most of us old guys. Hey, an old guy, James Llewellyn, I can't pronounce, but yeah, you old guys like someone who talks slowly and doesn't chatter like some of these young, fast-talking people. Okay, let's see, Ian Dawkins, please keep all the videos going. Have learned so much from you, the skill is teach. Okay, good. Yeah, that's like what I really think is I'm like, I was a really successful engineer. Like I was kind of like a world-class engineer, but I worked more at the solid state physics level. I worked down at what's going on with the atoms to make the integrated circuit work. I didn't operate up here at the high level of programming and putting parts together. That's not what I did as a career. After I retired, I wanted to learn it, and darn it, I was frustrated with how hard it is to learn. Because on programming, these guys, it's just like they're going to show you how to do something, but they assume you already know how to do it. And oh yeah, just hit the hex with your bits and then flip them and then go over here and then just, you know, you couldn't even grasp a starting point. So what I like to do is I like to teach, which means I don't assume you're an idiot. I assume that you're a smart person, but that you don't know the field. So I teach to people who are smart and are going to work hard, but don't know anything. So I don't assume you know anything when when I try to teach these things. Okay, let's see. Rob, wow, we're learning Arduino from one of the best friends. Well, you're so kind, Rob. Thank you for that. Thank you for that nice comment. Let's see. I'm trying not to skip anything. Okay, this is kind of hard for me to see these comments, so you guys be patient with me. This is kind of my first time here to try to do this live, and if I skip you, it was not done on purpose. It's just these things are scrolling by and I'm trying to keep up. Okay, I've got wow, we're learning so much. Okay, that's good. Microcontrollers and software, very good. Film Factory, any tips on writing the code when I need to have 3 to 4 I2C sensors? Most tutorials explain how to do just a single one at a time. Okay, I should look at that at some point, but I can't answer that off the top of my head on the fly. I would have to look into that. I know I've done it before, but I get the I2C a little rusty every once in a while. David Dodge, hi from Wales. Hey, hi. Great videos. Please keep them coming. They are coming. I have 52 queued up. You will be getting 2 a week, so stay tuned. It's Ami from Israel. Hey, go Israel. You have a great channel. Thank you. Thank you. I've always wanted to visit Israel. I've never visited Israel. I have traveled the world, high and low, but Israel is the one place I have not been to that I would like to go to. Rob, I would appreciate a series on digital logic. Yes. Guys, we got to learn old school. I'd love you guys to learn op amps and digital logic and analog design and circuit design, because microcontrollers are great, but there are cheaper and better ways to do things sometime. So that was Robert Bonham. Thank you. Robert Bonham. Man, hold on. Okay. Tim Connor, are you going to teach at least basic Python? Yes, I will. But it's going to be Python with a purpose, not Python to show off. Python is very powerful for visuals, for graphics, and Python is very powerful for handling strings. And so passing data from Arduino to a PC where I'm running Python, yes. Showing off of how I can solve hard problems in 3 lines of code, no. But I do really want to get into Python. Robert Bonham, I'm creating a remote data logger that will use solar. Can a LiPo battery be charged while in use powering the data logger? You might be able to look on Adafruit. There's some little power modules that are pretty sophisticated, and I think that you could probably charge and operate at the same time. Gauri Sankar, hi Mr. Paul, do you think robotics and automation will take over the jobs of mechanical engineers? No, I think if you're a mechanical engineer, you'll have a job because you are building robots, fixing robots, repairing robots, installing robots. The guys that are in trouble are the guys washing dishes, flipping burgers. Man, large segments of the population are going to find themselves out of a job, because if you don't add real value, if you don't have real skills, what you're going to find is you're going to find that you are replaced by a robot. Okay. Robert Bonham again, using a TP4056. I am not familiar with that part, so I will not comment. Got another comment in a language I don't understand on the username. I'm working on a nurse call system based on Arduino and want to say thank you for your help. All right, that sounds exciting. I like getting the Arduino going with Ethernet, and I think I did some lessons earlier on that Arduino with Ethernet, and that's some cool stuff there. I think Arduino with Wi-Fi is also some pretty cool stuff. Bora Kelursi, I meant with risky, if I will be an embedded system engineer, I can't earn money or get a job. That, I know what you're talking about there, Bora. Yeah, because I don't know if you guys know, but I've got a home in Africa, and I spend about half my time in Africa, half my time in the United States. And like, I want to help Africa, but if I go teach them to do Arduino, then they're really smart about something that no one will pay them for. So you got to make sure that you're not developing skills that are above the technology infrastructure of the area that you are. And it sounds like maybe in Turkey, you know, make sure that you're hitting that sweet spot. Like you have cell phones, maybe you should be doing something associated with IT or telephony or something like that. Because if you're a high-end engineer, like if you're a semiconductor manufacturing specialist and there's no semiconductor manufacturing plants in the country that you're living in, you could sort of, what we say in Texas, outrun your coverage or outrun your headlights. And so make sure that you're in an area that there will be jobs for. Okay, Farouk, I'm sorry I can't pronounce Wells' name's Wells. I'll learn a lot from you. Love your teaching methods. Thank you. All right. Ian Smith, what is Ian saying? Hi, Mr. Recorder. Do you know if there is something I can do with music and electrical engineering? Interesting, interesting. I have a student who is like a gifted, talented musician, and he likes composition, and he can play all types of different instruments. And so naturally, he wanted a career as a musician. and he's brilliant in math and science as well. And I told him, look, what you might think about is you might think about a career in engineering where your hobby is music, and then kind of bring the two together, right? There's a lot of opportunity. You can make a lot of money in engineering, and then, hey man, put a studio in your basement and buy all the equipment and gear and pursue your passion of music as a hobby without expecting to earn a living from it. And then you can kind of merge the two. And so I think there's a lot of opportunity, because sometimes the music mind is also like, music is really math. And so sometimes these music geniuses also are good in math and engineering. Okay. Uh, that would be my suggestion there. Michael Smith, hey, a name that I can pronounce. If you are doing digital logic, will Carnot mapping be included? I love the Carnot map. Man, the Carnot map is just like magical. And I also love Boolean algebra. I just really love Boolean algebra. If you guys give me feedback and would be interested in learning that, I would like to do a series on that. May Yank, sir, after you finish this series, could you redo the Arduino with Python series? That is a very real possibility. Because guys, I stayed on Python 2.7 as long as I could, but now it's being retired. And so I need to go and show you how to get Arduino talking to Python when you're on the modern Python 3.7 or whatever. And you can do it, but there's a few things that you got to do. And so that series is indeed getting a little old. Alexander Matombo, hey, I would like to create a NPWT based on Arduino. I do not know what an NWPT is. How do you realize differential GPS with Arduino? Hunter LP. Again, I do not know that. You guys are asking me hard questions that I don't know the answer to. Ian Smith, I was thinking about stage productions or something around that, but I don't really think the EE would be necessary for that. Might not, but if you're really getting into the engineering of a sound system, or man, how many times have you been somewhere that the sound system isn't working right? And so I think there's a lot of engineering in the kind of production equipment behind behind music or video. Another name that I can't read. Are you going to do a video on logging data from Arduino over the network to a server? Ami, I am not sure about that yet. And the reason is, once you start getting into networking things beyond the Arduino itself, the problem is there's a million different routers out there and there's a million different networks. And so very quickly we could get to something where I would not be able to help you very much, because I couldn't go in and show you how to log on to every single router in the world. And I'm really not very expert in setting up networks. So it's probably something I would not be very good at. Okay, again, if I skip your comment, it's just because it went past me and I didn't see it. I'm trying to get all of them. Thanks for your comments. You're a great man. Oh, thank you, Bora. You have helped people with videos. Very good. Thank you, Bora. All right, great deal. Alexander, negative pressure wound therapy. That sounds very, very interesting, but not anything I know about. Can we use AT328IC with bootloader in industrial applications? I do not know the answer to that. I know a little bit about a lot of things, but a lot of you guys are going beyond what my expertise is. Victor Lungo, hey sir, could you please do PLC programming series if that's possible? That might also be something I would be interested in the future. I'd love to do some of these things if you guys are interested, but if all anybody wants to do is play with the Arduino, I don't want to turn people off by doing some of this other stuff. Okay, I'm hoping you find time to teach how to use NRF2 for two-way communication. I do not know what that is. I do not know what that is. Ian Dawkins, are you interested in other tech 3D printing? Yes, look at my series of lessons on Fusion 360. And really, 3D printing, it's about doing the design, and 9% of the people with a 3D printer go to Thingiverse and download things and just sit and print things they find on the internet. In my lesson on Fusion 360, I try to show you how to design things. And if you can design things, then pick up a 3D printer and start printing them. I like the Prusa. I also have a Raise 3D, which is an expensive one. Alexander, how do I go about a project that involves pressure sensing and Arduino? There is a really cool little BMP sensor that does pressure really well. I don't know the latest model of the pressure sensor, but you can look it up on Adafruit. It's a great little pressure sensor, and you can do lots of good things with it. Roller, thank you for the videos. Hey, I appreciate Okay, Roller then asks, how would you decrease the noise for a pressure sensor? Yeah, like if you're trying to use the pressure sensor to measure height or something, it's amazing how accurate those pressure sensors are, but there is noise in them. What you want to do is you want to use a low pass filter. I will show you, it will probably be in the late 50s lessons, like I think I'm at lesson 52. We are getting to the point I need to show you how to deal with noise in coming off of your sensors, and that will be called a low pass filter. And wait for that lesson because I think it will help you a lot, especially on something like the pressure sensor. I know what you are talking about. Okay, have I gotten through all of those questions? All right. Here comes another one from Ami. Is it possible to use Arduino for two-way intercom? It might be. The Arduino is a little bit slow when it comes to trying to do images or audio. And if you look at a Raspberry Pi Zero, you can pick up for $5, or a Raspberry Pi Zero with Wi-Fi, you can pick up for $10. And so I think if I were going to try to make an intercom, I would be thinking about getting a couple of Wi-Fi Raspberry Pi Zeros, and then I would either have them talk to each other over Wi-Fi, or if you wanted to talk longer, plug them into Ethernet. And so I think that would be a neat project. Okay, Mayank, sir, would you make a video on how to use a color sensor, as I have followed your old tutorial? Yeah, I'll tell you, those color sensors are hard to make working, and that little one that Robotics made, it worked really great, and I bought a lot of color sensors that didn't work, and now I can't find the Robotics sensor anymore. So in order to do that, the color sensing one, again, I need to remake the videos with modern, readily available color sensors, and so that would be good. Hi, just tuned in. Have you seen the Raspberry Pi 4? Looks pretty cool. I mean, this is the thing. Okay, the Raspberry Pi 4. So we've got Arduinos, right? And then we start doing projects on Arduinos. And one day we get to the point that we want to do something that requires more processing power than an Arduino will do. And we think, I'll move to the Raspberry Pi. And that's kind of what I did. And like I say, I got a series of lessons with the Raspberry Pi. This is what my concern with the Raspberry Pi is. They seem to be going more the direction of trying to have a desktop computer that's the size of a credit card. And really, if you look at that Raspberry Pi 4 and you watch that thing boot, man, you could use that pretty much for a lot of stuff, a lot of simple stuff as a desktop computer. But as they're doing that, you're losing that beauty of the Arduino, of having those little pins that you can talk to and listen to and building your own systems. And it just seems like the Arduino is more natural for working with circuits, to where the Raspberry Pi seems to be more like becoming a little portable gaming machine or a replacement for a desktop computer. And so going in and working with those GPIO pins is not so easy on the Raspberry Pi. The thing about the Arduino is it just works. Like, watch this. Let's say that I come in and, oops, we had a power outage. We lost power. Okay, I'll change the battery and put it back in. And I just plug that thing in 2 seconds, it's working again. There's two types of Raspberry Pis out there, those that have corrupted boot cards and those that will have corrupted boot cards. So any little thing that goes wrong with the Pi, when you have a crash, it corrupts your operating system on your card. very often. And so as I work with the Pi, I'm constantly struggling. And then, okay, like I didn't back my card up and I had a great project on it. I lose the project because my card wasn't backed up. And anytime I lose power, that card can get corrupted. And so the thing that really interests me, I do have Pis and I do play with them, and I have projects that are based on the Raspberry Pi. But the thing that bugs me about the Raspberry Pi is how easy it is to corrupt that card. Which is why the ESP32 interests me, because it's more like the Arduino in that you just put power to it and it is good to go. All right, you're not going to have, I don't think, the same problem with corrupting the boot card. So I'm a little bit more interested in going to the ESP32 route than I am going the Raspberry Pi route. Although I really do need to redo those Raspberry Pi lessons. All right. Color sensor, the Raspberry Pi 4, Vaibhav Ard, I'm sorry, I am butchering your name. What's the difference between using the Arduino and using a PIC microcontroller? I really don't know, right? Like I say, my education and my real work in engineering was done at the atomic level, creating the atomic configuration, solid state physics to allow transistors, to allow integrated circuits. So I was working very, very much down at the fundamental physics level as you're trying to push more and more performance out of transistors, what's going on at the atomic level. Also, I have a lot of the original patents in the nanotechnology world with a lot of the things that have become our accelerometers and gyros and pressure sensors and all those types of things. I did a lot of the early pioneering work in that field. Ian Dawkins, I am an engineer and can use SolidWorks to design and print my own functional parts. That's why I love your channel at 60, hey, 60 years old. Another one of us more older and wiser guys. Yeah, I haven't done anything in SolidWorks because I didn't really see if there was just a real simple download license for the hobbyist. And that's the thing about Fusion 360. They're very generous for education and home hobby type use. Okay, Bora. Where did Bora go? Okay. I'm working with a 32-bit UC STM. I'm curious about PIC32. I don't know what PIC32 is. I really don't. You know, back when I was in school, we did digital logic, we did analog, we did circuit design, but I'm not into all of these things like between an Arduino and individual logic gates. What would be, May Inc., what would the boss project of this series be? I don't know yet, but I'm going to keep building. Like I say, what I like about this thing that I'm showing you here, which is like lesson number 52, is look at that standalone self-powered self-display. And that's really where the power comes in, is when you start doing things that you can get up and walk around with. Like imagine building a little 3D case for this, and you know, maybe have like a wireless communication capability. There's some pretty neat things there that I think could be done. Gart Morn, to be honest, I fancy it as a desktop. I am not sure I understand what you're saying. Was watching the UB40 concert. 10 is a great song. UB40, I am not sure where that comment is coming from. Sir, I have a Raspberry Pi and have many power outages, but till now my SD card has not gotten corrupted. Okay, I don't know why things get corrupted for me so bad. Maybe it's because I've got a lot of things connected to it and doing a lot of things, but I end up with a lot of corrupted cards. Oh, you're suggesting maybe the new Pis are less of a problem there. Maybe so. Using Arduino for GPS location and data logger for high power rocket. Oh, very interesting, high power rocket. How to send info to a field receiver for location and internal data logging. It depends on how high your rocket is going. If you are doing little simple things, you could look at the XB radios, and like there's an XB Pro, which can get a reasonable range if you have a clear line of sight and maybe do a little bit of work with the antenna. Otherwise, there is not a lot of good options, and what you might need to do is you might need to go to something like an Ethernet. What we do for our high altitude ballooning, where we have to keep a data link like 70 miles downrange, we use Wi-Fi radios, like a Wi-Fi router that we hack and then reprovision legally to the 2.39 gigahertz, which is a ham band right below commercial Wi-Fi. And then we have high gain antennas, all legally with our ham licenses and everything. But we go Wi-Fi when we have to go a long way. The XB radios will go a little ways. Okay. Allie, which one is your favorite Raspberry Pi or Arduino? I love the Arduino Nano because it plugs right into the board, and so I do my little development work on the Uno, but then I end up usually going to a Nano. And I love the Raspberry Pi Zero because I'm not trying to have a supercomputer. I'm not trying to replace my desktop. I'm trying to have a little embedded system. So I really like the Raspberry Pi Zero. Okay. I am having trouble keeping up here. Row again. It is awesome to have a live Q&A. Well, good. I'm having a little bit of fun here. Do you have made a video where you calculate the power consumption of an Arduino? I have not done a lot of stuff on power. I just really have not done that. Karanti Damatir from India. I'm sorry I cannot pronounce your name. Hi, shout out to India. Jose Eduardo, thanks for all your knowledge. Hey, thank you. Appreciate. What do you think is the best skill set for embedded engineers nowadays? Well, it's the same as it's always been. You know, show up to work on time, work hard, don't cause trouble, don't be a problem, don't be a problem maker, be a problem solver. Like when I was an executive in charge of 500 scientists and engineers, there was always that guy coming into my office. Well, I need to have a window, you know. I don't want a cubicle, I want a hard wall office. You would be surprised how many people whine about their office or whine about not having a window or whining about this and whining about that. Be that guy that doesn't whine. Anytime you go to your boss, do not go to your boss with a problem, go to your boss with a solution. Let's say that there's a huge backlog in testing and you're not getting your work done because there's a backlog in testing. Don't go to your boss and say, hey, I can't get my work done because those guys aren't getting the stuff tested. That would be bringing a problem to your boss. Bring a solution to your boss. Go say, hey, you know, my work is impacted because of the backlog in testing. Have you ever thought that if we did the testing in this order, and instead of doing first in and first out, if we did all the testing that required a certain configuration and then retooled and switched it, we could probably get stuff through testing quicker. Then you are a problem solver, not a problem creator. So that is what you want to do. Whatever your field, you want to be a hard worker. Don't be a complainer. Don't be a troublemaker. Be the guy that gets along with everyone. Well, what this guy stole my idea. Be the guy that gets along with the jerk. Be a guy that gets along with the guy that nobody gets along with. That's the way to move up in your company and get big raises and get promoted. Let's see, Lab Masty says, your background is so cool. Well, thank you. I had a bunch of fun. I have a bunch of fun in my career, and I really love teaching more than anything else. Guys, I'm about 20 questions behind, so if I'm not to your question yet, be patient. Please tell us more about transistor MOSFETs. They used to call me Mr. Transistor. I was known as Mr. MOSFET. And one of the things that I did was working on radiation hardening of MOSFETs. Like if you're going to use integrated circuits in nuclear war types of things or space applications, how do you make circuits that don't die in radiation environments? And that's what I did. So it was way down on the physics level. So I really love the physics of the transistor. Okay, if possible, then please ESP8266 and IoT of things. Yeah, I've had on my list a long time the IoT things. It's just I haven't seen a standard emerging. So if I did that, do I do MicroPython, CircuitPython, ESP32 acting like an Arduino? I just don't know. It's in the back of my mind, but I haven't figured out what to do there yet. 2-bit. Thank you, 2-bit, for being a part of this broadcast. David Dodge, sorry if you've already started out, but when is tutorial 8 released? Tomorrow at 10 a.m. Texas time. The next one will be released. Bori, okay, you guys are talking amongst yourself, which is okay. Okay. Gartmorn, I'm enjoying the Arduino lessons as we're not all software experts. I know, you got to start somewhere. And so many of these lessons that are out there, it's not about teaching you, it's about showing off how smart they are. And like, you can't understand the code, you can't understand, you just get frustrated. I will teach you. Other people might know more than I do, but what I know, I will share with you. High power rocket. That's what she said. Okay. Yeah. Okay. This is an interesting one. Gantz Akira. Do you believe in UFO? Okay. You ask, I will tell you. Don't hate me. All right. I think people are really seeing things. Like when I start investigating this, there are things that people are seeing. Okay. And you cannot deny, or I think it's becoming harder and harder to deny that there are things out there that you cannot explain. So I think there's kind of three possibilities. One is there's things going on in the military that they're not telling us, and so these are really just like next generation weapon systems. But when I see what these things seem to be doing, that doesn't seem to be reasonable. The most popular explanation is that there are these life forms from other planets. Okay, from my perspective, I don't believe that. I think these things that are being seen are spiritual in nature and kind of from a different spiritual dimension, and I think they're demonic. Okay, don't hate me. You ask, I tell you, but don't, you guys, if I'm just sitting here chatting and telling you what I think, don't hate me before it. I think that if they turn out to be real, they are probably kind of like the biblical Nephilim type of things making a comeback in these days. Okay, I will answer any question you ask me. You might not like my answer, but I will give you my opinion on anything. Do you have Instagram account? I do not have an Instagram account. I do have a Facebook account. You can follow me on Facebook. I can't give a lot of individual answers on Facebook because, again, I got 100,000 subscribers. I'll try to get together with you guys every once in a while on live Q&A to answer them, but people will send me on social media individual questions about projects. And since there's one of me and 100,000 of you, I just don't have the time to answer all of those. Mudassar Ansari, I founded my startup on robotics and automation. You were my guru. Hey, wonderful. That's what I like to hear. I do want to make a difference, and I love sharing what I know. I love teaching. Like I say, I had cool jobs. I had the Silicon Valley high-tech executive jobs. I had the executive jobs. I had the big corner offices. I, had the things going all over the world talking to audiences of thousands. I was like Mr. Big in the high technology world, But what I do now is teach high school students, and I enjoy that more than anything else that I have done. David Dodge, love the idea of assignments. I haven't had homework for a long time. Homework is coming. Oh, you will rue the day because you will be getting more and more homework. You will finally say, please, no more homework. Because in this series of lessons, I do like to give homework. And the reason I like to give homework is that there's too much of just people copying and pasting from the internet and just following along. You guys have got to do things on your own. There's doers and there are watchers. The world needs more doers and fewer watchers. So I hope some of you will take this homework seriously. I am not on Twitter. I do not have a Twitter. Uh, what about menus? Avinash, I'm not sure what kind of menus you are talking about. Is it possible Abhishek Ben-Urji, I'm sorry, I cannot pronounce that. Is it possible to power about 65 3mm LEDs using an Arduino with only power? Ooh, no, 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 no. Arduino, I can't even do the calculation in my head, but power things other than very simple things with an external power supply. Now, what you could do is you could look like in this eLego kit, this power supply, you could do some calculations there and see how much you could power from that. But very quickly on Arduino, you get to the point that you're going to cause damage if you try to do stuff. Okay, Kyle Thompson. Okay, I'm loving the section you did on Fusion 360 or die trying. Hey, it sounds like you didn't die trying, so that's good. I wonder if anyone has actually died trying using that. Okay. Okay, we've got a somebody sharing their Instagram. Kyle, will you maybe go into getting it from there to STL and the slicing and G code? I have not done that yet, and the reason I have not done the slicing and G code is just because there's so many different slicers and there's so many different 3D printers and there's so many different things. It's kind of like the problem of routers and networking. There's so much stuff out there. That's something that if I can just get you to a good model, then you're probably going to have to find specific tutorials on the printer or slicer you're using to get it to the G code. Okay, Akanship Hazra, can you make a video on Arduino with relay and Wi-Fi module? I could probably do Wi-Fi, but the reason I am not doing a relay is I don't want to be associated with somebody doing a project where they get themselves killed, because a relay switches high power. And so you could say, oh, well, I'm going to hook this up to a motor. And then you start bringing, like bringing 12240 volt, I like the Arduino because it's very hard to hurt yourself with it. You might choke yourself with it, but it's very hard to hurt yourself with it. So man, doing a video that goes out to the whole world, I don't want to do anything going close to something that somebody could hurt themselves with. And once you go to relays, you can hurt yourself. Jose, thanks so much for your valuable advice. All right. Muhammad Ali, sir, your teaching style is the best. Thank you. Thank you. Appreciate the kind words. Kyle Thomas, I really want to know how to make it once I've designed it. Yeah, and that is, you've just got to kind of figure that out, because if I did it, then chances are I would not be talking about the platform you are using. What is your favorite software program? Okay, I grew up on BASIC, and it was called HP BASIC, and you would write a BASIC program and it would control instruments. And I loved that because it was so intuitive. It was very human. It made sense. It was logical. And then things went to C, and C made no sense to me. And like I was going to try to learn C, and then I saw you couldn't even input something from the keyboard, and it would like take all this work just to get input from the keyboard. That's when I stopped being a programmer. Then when I got back into it, I kind of worked, I spent my career not programming, and then in retirement started working on things like the Arduino. What I love about Arduino, I love the concept of open curly, close curly, creating a clause, and it's so logical and crisp. What I don't like about Python is I don't like my programming to depend on indentation, because sometimes you do something like maybe you email code or you do something that indentation gets off and you can never get it straight. I don't like the idea of indentation. I don't like in Python how you don't have to declare your variables, because that way if you have a typo, it doesn't throw an error. It just keeps, so like if I called it little p1 equal 4, and then down in the code I put big capital P1, it doesn't give me an error. It's just I get wrong answers and then I go crazy trying to figure it out. So I like how you have to declare your variables and you get errors if you don't, if it sees a variable that you haven't declared. What I love about Python is I love with Python how easy it is to do graphics and how easy it is to manipulate strings. Muhammad Ali, sir, your teaching style's the best. Thank you. Thank you. Okay. What is your favorite software? I just talked about that. Okay. Lab Masty, I'm doing a master's in chemistry. Can you tell me how will I excel in research, as it takes lots of time and energy and even less money? Okay. It's, again, I don't care what you're going to do. The way to be successful is show up on time, don't complain, don't be a troublemaker, have your boss view you as a problem solver, not a problem maker. Look at your boss. What time does he come in? Be on the job and sitting at your desk 10 minutes before your boss gets in, and then don't leave until 10 minutes after he leaves. Let your boss see this is the hardest working guy in the building. I was successful not because my boss looked at me and said, this guy is the smartest guy I've ever seen. I was successful because my boss would look at me and say, this is the hardest working man in the room. That guy, he's a problem solver. That guy, he can get along with anybody. That guy, he can communicate. We got someone important coming in. We're going to put him in front of the important people. Those are the things that make you successful. And sometimes people think, well, if I just got more education, or if I just got this other thing or learned this other programming language, man, at some point you're just spinning your wheels until you take care of those social issues. Okay, let's see what we have here. Uh, Boo Wonder 888. Ah, my old nemesis, the transistor. Ah, yes, but if you would just learn the physics of the transistor would be your friend. Ian Dawkins, you've opened my eyes and inspired me with this live chat. Well, thank you, Ian. We are not wasting our time here. You know, I'm glad that we've got some people watching. I'm glad we've got some people playing along. You do a live stream, you wonder if anybody is going to participate. I was not exactly sure how to kick this live stream off. It's kind of confusing going from my software to over to YouTube. It's very confusing. And I was not sure for a while whether I was live or not. Sir, please tell me how I can make my ultrasonic sensor more efficient. These little ultrasonic sensors like this, like if you have a little one like this, okay, like this. All right. Those are real fun to play with, and they're neat, cute little things. But very quickly, what you find is they've got a lot of noise, and also they're kind of good for a very limited range. And so they're good to learn on, but it's hard to do much serious work with them. Pratham Kulkarni, please tell me how to make my ultrasound. Okay, we talked about that. Muhammad Ali again, sir, I am very weak in electronics. Please make more tutorials. Yes, I would like to make more tutorials. I want to finish the Arduino. I really want to do the digital logic design. I really want to do circuit analysis. And like, man, do you know, guys know AC circuits, like alternating current circuits where you don't have a constant voltage? The only way you can solve AC circuits is to use imaginary numbers. And I just love that AC circuit design because it brings imaginary numbers to life. And you see, hey, there's nothing imaginary about imaginary numbers. They're just as real numbers. And you see that they give you a tool that allow you to solve real problems. Okay, imaginary numbers are very, very cool, and I like playing with them. Sulaiman Mohammed, Mr. I want to learn to make Arduino sketch to control LED strips. Uh, I have not done that before, so I cannot help you there. Lab Masti, how will I start learning Arduino programming from starting? I have interest but don't know how to start. Start at lesson 1, our fabulous Arduino tutorial series. Lesson 1, man, I show you just take the thing out of the box and plug it in, and you write your first program in like 2 minutes, okay? Falak Sher Khan, we need more tutorials on Arduino. You are getting them, man. There are 52 new ones made that are going to be released 2 a week. Okay, Falak says he loves our tutorials. Thank you very much. Oh man, you know, this is so hard because it gives me a little bitty box to look at this in. And then I have trouble keeping up with your comments. I'm going to see here if there is any way I can get these comments in a bigger box. Okay, because it's jumping around on me here. Okay. Okay. Okay, I'm sorry, this is really hard for me to keep track of where these comments are. Next time I'll figure out a better way to do these comments where I can see them. I can see them full screen. Guys, if you're just joining us, this is just an open forum. Any questions that you have, anything. I got a question on UFOs, anything that you want to ask me, you know, Kennedy assassination, man, whatever you want to talk about, I will answer and give you my opinion. Okay, Falak says, I love your tutorials, lab masteries. Sir, what are you drinking that in the flask you drank? This is ice cold coffee. I start with a very, very strong hot espresso. I pour it over ice and I enjoy it. It's very hot here in Texas, so I am drinking iced coffee, no sugar, no booze, no little sweetener packets, straight black coffee over ice. Try it, and I think you will like it. Sherlock Cooper, I learned Arduino from you. Hey, good job. I built 10 projects. Hey, good job. LCD menus. I am not sure what you mean by that. We are putting things on the LCD. And are you talking about like interacting with the Arduino by looking at the LCD and then doing something? I'm not sure what you are asking there for sure. Tutorial on ECG module. I don't know what ECG stands for. Despite what some of you may think, I do not know everything. You have to be hands-on to realize your mistake. It's the only way to learn this stuff. Yes, yes, okay. Because this is the difference between the men and the boys. Like I teach these kids. The kids listen to me, they go do what I show, and then they come and tell me it's not working. Well, it's never going to work because nobody can work perfectly. You're always going to make mistakes. The thing that separates the men from the boys is being able to go in and find your mistake and correct it. Like if this thing here is not working, okay, if this is not working, what could it be? Well, it could be I have a coding error. It could be that I didn't hook it up right. Now, first of all, on coding errors, how do you find a coding error? Go in and put a lot of print statements and just like almost a print statement at every single line, and you say, okay, yes, it knows this, yes, it knows this, yes, it knows this. Oh, this is an unexpected result. Okay. Then if you find that your coding is working perfectly, then you've got to come in and see, did you hook things up perfectly? If you coded it correctly and it's hooked up perfectly, then what could it be? It could be a bad component. You know, like these LCD displays, sometimes they burn out. But don't just immediately go in and assume that your component is bad. Usually more than the component being bad. Usually you have made the mistake. Boo Wander 888, you have to be the, okay, Yeah, we talked about that. Thank you. Yeah, you got to learn how to debug your stuff. Mudassar Ansari, thank you for your precious response. Thank you. I'm a civil engineer by profession, but founded my company in robotics. Very good. Currently, I'm recognized by Government of India and have my head office. That is wonderful. Ian Dawkins asked MOSFET or NPN transistors. How could you ask such a question? MOSFETs is where it is at. MOSFETs is where it is at. Why do I love MOSFETs? I love MOSFETs because the math is a lot simpler and using a MOSFET in a circuit. Also, like if I just want to pop one in without doing a lot of analysis, the MOSFET, it's easier to use intuitively in a circuit. Like I can just put it in without having to really think. To where NPN transistors, it's a lot more, I think, design work. And also, you can create radiation hardened versions of circuits with MOSFETs to where NPN transistors are intrinsically susceptible to radiation. So, questions on EMP, that's a topic. Ask questions on EMP if you like. Okay. Kyle, thank you. Thank you, Kyle. Okay. What is the name of your company? Does it have a website? I sold the company, I sold the assets, and so we are no longer in operation. It was called Memex, and we did telecommunication gear, we did medical devices, we did a lot of different stuff. It was a lot of fun, but it is no longer in existence because I decided to retire because I got tired of how hard it is to work in a in a startup company with venture capital funding. You're working 12 hours a day, 6 days a week. I went like 7 years without taking a day of vacation, and I got tired, so I decided to retire. Sherlock Cooper, any plans on making ESP8? I would do ESP32 if I were going to do it, but I have not done it yet, and the reason that I have not done it yet is that I don't know what direction that field is going. Is it going MicroPython? Is it going CircuitPython? Is it going an Arduino-like environment? And until I see a little more clarity, I do not want to invest in making a tutorial. Please do a tutorial series on the drone. Okay, man, I had a drone that was like a kit, and those things are hard to make work, and something goes wrong, and it's like putting your face in a blender. So that is just a little bit more than what I want to undertake a drone, although I love drones. I have a drone. I have one here. I have one in Africa. Okay. Abrar Ashraf, love you. Well, love you too, man. Thank you for the kind words. Please do a tutorial on drone purely using Arduino. I know, it just, man, that is harder than what I want to do. And those darn 9-axis, I've always wanted to do a tutorial on using a 9-axis sensor and then taking the 9-axis data out and just coming up with roll, pitch, and yaw, and having something that takes those 9 data channels and turn them into something that work well. But it is just very frustrating, and I have not gotten the nerve up to do that. And then the drone problem is even harder than that. Let's create a WhatsApp group so we can talk about all of those. Okay, not sure exactly who's talking to who there. Surjan Sardala, I am designing a liquid-propelled rocket. Wow, but I am unable to measure the velocity as the BMC sensor can only measure one distance and cannot measure the differences of distances. I am stuck here. Man, do you know the other problem? Rockets go really fast. I'm not sure exactly what you're saying the problem is, but if you have 2 different pressures, you can calculate the distance between those 2 different pressures. And so I'm not sure if you have a problem you can't measure quick enough, or you don't know how to calculate a change in distance based on a change in pressure. If I have P0 and P1, and I know where elevation is at P0, then I can calculate elevation 1. If that is what you're asking, there is a solution there. But with a rocket, you change elevation so quickly it could be hard. Zircon Tweezers, hi, been watching from Morocco. Hey, Morocco, keep up the good work. I will try hard. Ali Aiden, coffee is the most beautiful thing in the world, right? Yes, as long as you don't go start putting syrupy sweets in it. Let the coffee come through. The coffee is beautiful. I'll tell you, question on coffee, right? This is an open forum. You can ask me anything. We've got questions on UFOs so far, questions on coffee. This is what I have for breakfast every morning. I get organic, pure, whole whipping cream, about a half a cup of whipping cream. I froth it using a cappuccino machine, so I froth the cream, and then I pour 2 really strong shots of espresso in it. It is delicious. Even though there's no sweetener in it, it tastes like ice cream. And look, I am not the fattest man on the face of the earth, even though for the last 20 years I have drank half a cup of cream every single day. So you got to rethink what they're telling you on what's healthy and what's not healthy. Okay, rethink it. Because I eat a lot of cream and I am very healthy. Uh, An FPGA digital design tutorial would be amazing. Hopefully one day I can move that direction. Hopefully one day I can move that direction. Man, this is so hard to keep these comments up. I wish I could make this box big, but I can't. Okay. Oh, Daily Show. Whoa, thank you. Got a super chat there. Not expected, but greatly, greatly appreciated. Okay. I am getting behind on the comments, and then it jumped, and I have trouble finding where it is. Okay. Have you seen the Raspberry Pi 4? Yes. I'm not sure if I went too far back. Okay. I don't want to skip any. Okay, we're back to the coffee comment. Yes, I love coffee. Any coffee comments would be welcome. FPGA, yes, I would like to do that. Just want to say thank you, Paul. This is MD Plastics. I really enjoy your tutorials of Arduino. Great, especially glad that you are redoing them. Yes, those old ones were pretty ratty, weren't they? I'm embarrassed. I was doing it with a webcam, just a simple, cheap webcam, just a simple cheap webcam and screen capture software. The thing that bugged me about it was there was some latency in there, so my mouth was not in sync with the audio, and that bugged me horribly. So doing it better with better equipment. Okay, MD Plastic, I am old and slow to learn. Better slow, slow and steady wins the race. And so don't worry about being slow, because really, again, I'm assuming that if you're smart and work hard, you can learn this. I don't assume that you know anything. So you can learn from me, because I do not make you know something. I teach you something. Could you do videos about STM32? I do not know what that is, believe it or not. Okay, Daily Show. Thanks a lot for the tutorial. Yes, I really enjoy them. Yes, glad that you can follow them. Yes. Channel deleted. If I would be able to transfer my age, I would have been sent you 10 years from my life, because you are the best Arduino teacher ever. Thank you. Thank you. I will absorb those 10 years. I'm going to live to be a old, grappy old coot. You know that? A grappy old coot. I am 57 and I am in exceptional health, so I'm going to be here for a long time. You're going to have to get used to me, because I'm not going away. All right? Okay, thank you for the kind words. Let's see. Man, this is so crazy hard. Thanks a lot. All right, very good. We talked about that. Have you seen the Raspberry Pi 4? Yes, indeed. I think it's an amazing little board, but again, it's like the Raspberry Pi seems to be going towards replacing a desktop or seems to be going towards being a little gaming machine or a entertainment center type of thing. And what I love about the Arduino is getting down and working with pins and circuits and talking to pins and sending things to things and going. I like working at the circuit level, and it seems like the Raspberry Pi is going more towards being a little like computer on a board. Love it, but it's not so much where my heart is. I do need to go back and redo those Raspberry Pi tutorials because they are getting a little ratty as well. Let's see, people write in all caps. Yes, they do. It doesn't particularly bother me as much as it bothers some people. Add Magma. I started watching your Arduino lessons. Now I'm in 9. You're 9 years old or you're in lesson 9. Okay. And if you're on those old tutorials, you might want to, the old ones are called lesson Arduino lessons. The new ones are called Arduino tutorial. If you haven't moved, Browder 888, Boo Wander 888, no, you are Ad Magna. If you are not on the new lessons, you might move over to the new lessons. PQ, can you make tutorials about ICs and transistors and how to use them in your circuit? Well, I could talk about transistors, but ICs, it's just like, that's so complicated. What I would like to do is I would like to show you, like, how do you get these chips that have, let me show you. Hold on. You see, semiconductor manufacturing is used to what I would do. So this is a 6-inch silicon wafer, and it is covered with integrated circuits. And so the integrated circuits are made on 6-inch silicon wafers. How do they do that? How do they get 12 billion with a B, 12 billion little switches, little transistors on one integrated circuit? And this is not an integrated circuit. One little square on here, one of those little squares is an integrated circuit. How do you get 12 billion integrated circuits on there? I could tell you that because that's what I did. I was responsible for 2 enormous, gigantic integrated circuit manufacturing facilities, and I have a mosquito problem. I'm paranoid about mosquitoes because when I live in Africa, mosquito bite can be deadly, so I have a response to seeing a mosquito like that. Okay, so I could tell you someday about how to make integrated circuits or how they're made. We could do that as a live session if there was interest in that. In addition, I would, this is Ali Aiden. In addition, I was in love to Linux with RPI lessons. That was pretty good. Thank you. I need to redo those though, don't I? Okay. Okay, man, I am struggling here. Okay, my Arduino Uno is detected in Windows 10 as well as the Arduino IDE, but the ports is grayed out and I can't upload the sketch to the Arduino TXRX. It's not blinking. Try this, try a different USB cable, okay? That what you are saying could be the indication of a broken USB cable. So try a different cable. If that doesn't work, try a different try a different Arduino, that you could have a hardware problem. The other thing is reboot your computer. Try that, Mr. Ananda Krishnan. Okay. Let's see if I can keep coming down here. Hello, sir. This is Ad Dishadiri. Hello, sir. I liked your Arduino series and am doing good in electronics now. Wow, good. That's what you need to do. You need to do good in electronics. Sir, is it a good career to be a researcher? Well, it depends. There's 3 things that you can do in engineering. You can kind of be in research, and that's where you're looking at the far out ideas that very likely will never lead to anything useful. That mosquito. Sorry. I'm sorry, I can't control myself if there is a mosquito. Researcher, okay. You can do research, you can do development, you can do application. Research is the far out stuff that like 9 out of 10 things that people research will never be used in a product. Out of all that research, the one that shows promise is moved into development, and then you go in and like this would be what I would say would be development. Okay, do you see this thing that I've got a mock-up on a breadboard that's actually working? This would not be research, this would be development. And then the final thing would be application, where you say, hey, I've got this thing working now. What I'm going to do is, instead of doing it on a breadboard, I'm going to lay out PC boards. I'm going to start thinking about real things like, what is the cost? You know, what is the supply chain going to look like? What is the reliability? What is, you know, really turning it into a product, the productization of a prototype. So research is, you're off looking at crazy ideas. Development is, of all those crazy ideas, which ones show promise? You're going to take it to a prototyping stage. And then application is where you take a prototype and turn it into a real product. Research I didn't like, because I want to do things that really end up being used and make a difference. And so I didn't like the research environment, even though I was responsible for one of the largest research organizations in the world. I really liked development more than I liked research. And then I didn't like application or productization, because it was just a bunch of stuff like paperwork. Oh man, got to get your quality stuff. I didn't like that much. Okay, but research I think was a little bit too far out for me. Although I had 100 or so technical publications in the engineering and science world that were refereed. Falak Shirkan electrocardiogram, ECG, or flex sensor tutorials. That would be something that I don't know very much about. Abe, hey Paul, thanks for the Arduino lessons. Great. Okay, great. You like them. Cordbod technology, sir. I'm trying to build a robot using Arduino, and how to get the power up to 16 servos. Again, the power is the problem. You cannot power things from the Arduino. You've got to power them from a power supply, and you've got to choose a power supply with the current producing oomph that you need for everything that you're doing. And so that is what you are up against. Ian Dawkins, cheap breadboards have caused me so many bad connections. I feel your pain. Buy a reputable kit, not the cheap eBay stuff. There is nothing more expensive than a cheap breadboard. How about that? Nothing more expensive than a cheap breadboard. Okay. Let's see if we can move on here. I wish there was, oh, there. The arrow key helps a lot. David Davids, what is your middle name? Did they go for the triple? David? Okay, David Davids. Hello, I'm from South Africa. Wow. How did you stabilize your reading of the temperature humidity sensor? I'm getting a lot of fluctuations and was thinking a digital filter. Man, I've got a delay in there, okay? And I am not getting any noise off of this thing. If you are getting noise, you might really want to check all your connections. And also, do you see how neat this is with these little jumper wires, as opposed to using these things? These things can jump all over the place and can cause problems. So I might suggest you try to button down your circuit a little bit more, like this looks like. Hey, South Africa. You know, I have never been to South Africa, but I love Africa. I've been to Africa 10 times, and in fact, I have a lovely home in Africa. Abshir Ashraf, I learned a lot from you. Love you. Well, thank you. From Pakistan. All right. Guys, I'm getting a lot of boring engineering questions. I wish somebody would ask me something more interesting. We got, crazy things. Ask a few crazy questions. Somebody ask a crazy question. Okay, and I lost my spot again. Okay. Man, I've got the questions building up. I am not ignoring you. I've just got the questions building up. Okay. Can I use Arduino for professional installation? Thank you, sir. You got to be careful, because a lot of these, I don't know the answer. Okay. The thing you got to be careful of, a lot of these open source things have things in the licensing, and you can use it, but then if you use it, you got to let anybody else use it. And if you drive, it's just like, you need to ask a lawyer and a professional engineer on that. Arduinos are great to learn on, that's what I will say. Gartmorn, a tip for Arduino beginners, avoid crappy cheap breadboards. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. As I said, there is nothing more expensive than a cheap breadboard. It's like I knew a guy who, you know, those tall radio towers that have the light bulbs on the top, and when you have to change the light bulb, you got to go all the way up the tower and back. Nothing more expensive than a cheap light bulb for a radio tower. Zircon tweezers, can I use Arduino? Okay, I answered that. Gartman, okay, yeah. Sir, come to India. We will have fun. Do you realize what an airplane ticket to India would cost? Oh my goodness. You know what? I have never been to India, been all over the world, but I have never been to India. But I have had some very good friends from India. Would like to see some tutorials about Arduino and home automation? That would indeed be an interesting one. That would be an interesting one. We would have to kind of get a little Ethernet business going, a little Wi-Fi going maybe there. On home automation, I really think probably instead of the Arduino, I would go to the ESP32. Thanks. Is there a good basic staple set of MOSFETs for the kit box? There indeed is not. I think in the kit box they have a NPN transistor or PNP transistor. I like the MOSFETs. I would find a good bulky, you know, like good solid MOSFET on Amazon, and they're probably a couple of bucks. Thank you again, Daily Show, for your most generous donation to the Super Chat. Okay, Andrew D, greetings from New Zealand. New Zealand, man, I have never been to New Zealand, but I've been to Australia 4 times. I really loved it there. I really loved Australia, and I was so sad that I never got to make it to New Zealand. I also loved the movie Crocodile Dundee, if anybody saw that. Any upcoming J-Law Woodall, any upcoming tutorials on Raspberry Pi? I need to redo those old Raspberry Pi videos. They are a little long in the tooth and a little bit low production quality, so I would like to redo those. Surgeon Sadala, I cannot measure the difference in elevations for my rocket because I cannot fit 2 commands of BMP read pressure in the loop function, and I do not find interrupts useful. Why can you not just simply continue to read BMP read pressure? I mean, can't you just keep reading the pressure? I am not understanding your problem. If you can build a rocket, that's the hard part. I would think measuring pressure would be the easier part. Nikhil Prabhu, Paul, I wanted to ask if Arduino boards can be used for industrial applications. I would be concerned about all the legal issues associated with the licenses and what the license allows you to use and what things. So that's something really, I think, oh my goodness, greetings from London. We have a super chat, not expected, but greatly appreciated. Greatly appreciated. Is anybody else drinking coffee out there? Come on. You guys are giving me boring questions. Ask a question about coffee or something like that. Okay, I wanted to ask if Arduino boards, okay, we talked about that. Check out Jets on Nano and Beagle 1. That was Mike Rubino. Check out Jets on Nano and Beagle 1. I am not sure what that was in response to. Browder 888. Paul, do you think you can get a complete and better education from YouTube? Man, there is so much you can learn on YouTube these days. You know, just like anything, like my ice maker wasn't working on my freezer, and it's going to be like $250 to have a guy come out and fix it. And so I just YouTubed it, how to fix the ice maker in my refrigerator. There is this darn button that if you open it up and reach all the way back and then come back, there is a button back there, and you hit that button and it resets the ice maker, and it fixed it. Okay, RO water system. It's just anything, man. You can learn anything on YouTube. So I think YouTube is really good, and I think you can get a good education. The problem is the technical industry is not ready for YouTube educated engineers. They want that pedigree. Okay, and the darn thing is you got to pay your dues and you got to get your pedigree. Either go to a technical vocational school, a 4-year university, but you got to get your credentials. I will tell you, I really think that most people that are getting a 4-year university degree are wasting their time. Yes, I said it. Most people going to college are wasting their time. What does the world need? The world needs plumbers, welders, electrician. The world needs people that can make things, fix things, build things, do things. The world needs people with real tangible skills, and more universities do not give you real tangible skills. So unless you are studying engineering or going to go into the medical field or going into medicine, engineering, lawyers, things like that, that's great for four-year universities. But I think a lot of people would be better off going to a technical vocational school and getting real trades, as opposed to going and getting a sociology degree or a psychology degree or a international business degree. I just think that most people would be better off getting a real skill, a real trait. Okay. STM32, okay. I do not know much about that, Mr. Sazindi. Brick Gammas, can you make a tutorial on a Bluetooth module? Man, I hate Bluetooth. I'm sorry, I hate Bluetooth. And like, I love the Raspberry Pi, and then somewhere along the way they added the Bluetooth to it, and when they added the Bluetooth, then the UART and the USB stuff wasn't working, and so I have never had Bluetooth. Has always been something that made me miserable. I want to build rocket stabilization system. Man, that is going to be hard. You're going to have to get a 9-axis system in there, and rockets go so fast. Getting that, measurement, calculation, change something thing, that is going to be a very challenging problem, but good luck with it. Muzaffar Ahmad, hi, can we have more videos on God and explanation of Bible verses? I really love those videos. Wonderful. I will put that on the list and we'll get back to that, because that's really where my heart is, and would love to make more videos on that. I'm trying not to like just push stuff in people's face. That's why I have a different channel on that particular topic for those interested. Okay. Lab Masti, sir, I want to combine Arduino with chemistry. Is that a good Arduino and chemistry? That sounds like kaboom. Make sure you stay legal as you are combining your chemistry with your Arduino. But if you're talking about like a factory control thing, that would be good. Just be very careful anytime you're dealing with chemistry, because you can hurt someone. Jose Eduardo, sir, what are your thoughts on self-driving cars? They scare me very badly. I think we are getting close, but I think they're not ready for prime time yet. I see a lot of kind of scary things as far as stuff happening with people that are sleeping in their Teslas and stuff like that. I think it is coming, but I think that it's good for certain more limited application. I just don't see you now getting in your car in Los Angeles and having it take you to New York or something like that. BeagleBone AI is coming out. I will have to check that out. I did not know that. Can you please make a tutorial on Nokia screen TFT or other colored displays? I can look into it, but there are so many different displays, I would not even know where to start. Rick Gamma says he's seen all the old tutorials. Good. Hopefully you don't get bored with the new ones. Might be good to refresh. And also, like I say, I'll be getting to, I'm not going to stay at like simple things the whole way. We will be getting to these more sophisticated projects. Okay. When is the next Arduino EP coming out? The next tutorial will come out tomorrow. I release tutorials Tuesday and Thursday for the foreseeable future. Andrew D., I put a Pi Zero in a small robot car, and I'm going to replace it with the Arduino, as the Arduino is much better suited for the job. I use a Pi to program the Arduino. Okay, that makes sense. Yeah, when I'm working with hardware, I just have a lot better luck using the Arduino than the Raspberry Pi. The Raspberry Pi, you do have access to those GPIO pins, but it's not as convenient as the Arduino. Kunwar Aditya, I massacred your name, I'm sorry. Can you make videos on machine learning? I don't know anything about that. I've kind of looked into it, but it really kind of depends on how much interest there would be. It would be something I might be interested in looking into. Okay. I'm getting behind on these, but I'm going to sit here till I answer all your questions. Okay, I've seen all your old Arduino. Okay, good. King Van, when's the next Arduino EP coming up? I release Arduino tutorials Tuesdays and Thursdays. Tomorrow is Tuesday. Okay, I already answered that one. Machine learning. Brick Gammas, I'm in 7th grade. Hey, man, you are ahead of the game. And you learned RPi and Arduino and Python. You've done all 3 of those in 7th grade, man. Watch out. You guys had better watch out for this young man. Brick Gammas is going places and taking care of business. Stick with it, man. Lab Masty, do we get a good salary if I choose to be as a researcher in chemistry? Yes, researchers in chemistry will get a good salary. Quad-baud technologies, are you thinking about making tutorials on IoT? I am, but I'm waiting to see what direction that field is going. I really don't quite know where it's going yet. LM35 or DHT11? Yes, DHT11, right there as we speak. That's one of the things coming up. And it wasn't so much on this that I'm trying to say, okay, you're making a very complicated thermometer and humidity sensor, but it's the idea of going from something with a bunch of these loopy wires to something that you can get up and walk around with. Detethering from your desktop, right? You can't have this umbilical cord for the rest of your life. Tech automation, can you make videos on PLCs? I would have to do a lot of learning. I do at some point want to get into ICs and digital logic design and gate arrays and things like that, if there is interesting. Labmaster, sir, I want to see you singing and dancing. Please, sir, one song or dance step. Okay, that's what I want. I want more crazy questions. Okay, that does fall into the category of crazy questions. I cannot dance. I have 0 moves. I have 0 coordination. You know, that math part of my brain kind of was big, but it squeezed out that physical coordination part of the brain. And also, it kind of squeezed out any music talent whatsoever. So I will spare the YouTube community and I will not try to sing, but I do appreciate crazy questions. Okay. Discrete logic or Arduino? I would love to do discrete logic, working with gates, AND gates, NAND gates, NOR gates, doing Carnot maps, learning Boolean algebra. I just love Boolean algebra. It's so logical, and so I just love that. Are you going to make tutorials on AI using Raspberry Pi? I will admit that is kind of an interest because you got that little camera module that you can put on the Raspberry Pi and like maybe doing some facial recognition or something like that. Egg or chicken, which came first from Lab Masty? That qualifies as a crazy question. Thank you. The answer is very simple. Yes, the chicken did come first because, right, you ask me crazy things, I tell you the answer, don't hate me. But, you know, God created the heavens and the earth and he created all the animals. Then the animals went forth and were fruitful and multiplied. So animals were made first and then other animals begat other animals. But it was a good question, and don't hate me if I give you my opinion because you guys asked me the question. Okay, thank you again, Frasbo, for the super chat. That is much appreciated, but is not expected, but it's a very, very kind thing, and I do appreciate it. More microcontrollers are using Python. Do you think Arduino will switch to Python someday? I hope not, because there's an elegance of the Arduino programming language. Again, I like the open curly and closed curly. I like how structured it is. But I do see lots of things going to Python, and you know, Python might be part of an ESP32 solution. It might be something that I would look at some point. Ian Cooper, I like the pace you are releasing videos, the new vids. It is not overwhelmed. Okay, slow brain. You don't have a slow brain. It's just you need someone to talk at a normal speed. So Ian, don't think you have a slow brain. Man. I got some hate when I restarted these tutorials because some people thought, oh, well, I already know this stuff. And I had a bunch of people unsubscribe from the channel. But look, man, everybody's got to start somewhere, and you had to start somewhere. We all had to start somewhere. So don't get mad if I go back to the beginning and don't start at lesson number 60, because I want this integrated education where if you start at lesson 1, you can start there and then go all the way to these more complicated projects. And we will get more and more complicated projects, but it's sort of like, well, I don't like it because I didn't get exactly what I wanted. Yeah, you know, a lot of you out there, I can't make it perfect for everyone, but Ian, I appreciate your kind words. Lab Masty, sir, why don't you dye your hair? Okay, Lab, that qualifies as a crazy question. It has been suggested that I dye my hair pink. Probably not going to happen at this point in my life. I feel that the crazy white hair is sort of my trademark. You notice that I always wear an orange shirt? Did you notice that? That's kind of my trademark as well. Orange shirt, white hair, Arduino in the background. Trying to get a little bit of brand identity. When do you wake up? I get up at 5 in the morning. I don't have an alarm clock. I just wake up, ready to go, roll out, and get busy. Do you do some sort of workout like yoga? No, I do not do yoga, and I don't work out. Like, I don't go to the gym. You can see that I'm not fat. I'm like active in a normal sort of way. So if you're teaching, you're up, standing up, walking all day. Then I go home. I have a greenhouse. I do a lot of work in the greenhouse. I do hydroponics, so I grow like a bunch of most of what I eat I grow in the greenhouse using hydroponics, and then also some organic soil systems. I have chickens, so I got to take care of the chickens. So I'm on the move. I'm doing things. I don't have a sedentary lifestyle, but I do not have time to do something like go to the gym or just run around in circles around a track. Okay, we are getting some crazy questions there. Thank you. From Frederick Hansen, hey Paul, when are you doing your master's that when you were doing your master's that a company offered you, were you stuck in a contract after that? I was not. So they said, we will send you to get a master's degree. We will pay you your salary while you're getting your master's degree, and we will pay all of your expenses. And then there was no obligation. But right, we're all like people of integrity, so I wouldn't go do that and take that from them and then just stiff them. I'm just not the type of person that would do that. And also, the job they gave me was a really, really great job, so I wanted to come back. And so worked out for me, worked out for them. Okay. Can't watch new tutorials after tutorials at number 7, Fallout Con, because the tutorials are released 2 a week. Patience, Grasshopper. The next one will be released tomorrow, and then the following one Thursday. That way, people can kind of play along and you don't just get overwhelmed, and then it comes out and a bunch of people are working on it. I think it works pretty good. Okay. The trades are where the jobs are, Andrew D. You are right. Now, engineering, great to go to a 4-year university. Okay. Medicine, 4-year university, something like that. But for a whole bunch of stuff, the trades are where the jobs are. And in fact, if you just don't have the resources or the wherewithal for a full 4-year engineering degree, go to a technical vocational school and get an instrumentation degree or an IT or a computer degree or an electronic technician degree. Man, those jobs, they're good jobs, they're high paying, you're always in demand. So just because you can't go to a 4-year university, there are some excellent technical degrees at a trade college. There's a difference between a technical vocational college and a junior college. Junior colleges a lot of times are just kind of like total waste of time, but technical vocational schools are where you will get a trade. Okay, Tim Vance, thanks a lot. Well, thanks, Tim. Labmaster, sir, do you like to watch web series? I'm not sure which web series you're talking about. Frederick Hansen, what is your opinion about mechanical engineering? I just like electrical engineering more than mechanical engineering. And a lot of times kids say, oh, wow, I want to design race cars, and so I'm going to go be a mechanical engineer because they like cars or they like motors. But the thing is, you're not going to be designing a race car. They're going to give you one little spring on the brake system that is part of this. It's just like you get just these little bitty things that are part of bigger things. And so I think that in electrical engineering, there is a lot more of ability to work on exciting things. And also, like, well, I'm interested in airplanes, and so I want to be an aerospace engineering. I would be willing to bet that Boeing hires a lot more electrical engineers than they do aerospace engineers, and so there's a lot more engineering on a modern aircraft that is electrical than aerospace probably. So I really think the electrical engineering is where the sweet spot is. Okay. And once again, this thing lost me. All right. Why the switch to iced coffee? Because it is hot outside. And also it is quite refreshing. Cools the parched throat. That qualifies somewhat of a crazy question. Daily Show, what do you think a click PLC would be good for a simple, would you think a click PLC would be good for simple home automation projects? If not, what would you prefer for an entry-level project in that area? You know, that's something, the home automation is something I'm still trying to get my head around. You know, what is an area that would really be something meaningful? And so it's a good question, but it's something I just don't quite have my head around. There's a lot of talk about home automation, but I'm not quite there yet as far as seeing what I would do that I think would be really useful. Quad-band technologies. I want to make a high-altitude balloon, but I am scared if it falls on someone. Yep, you got to be really careful, and we've done like 11 launches of high altitude balloons. That's what all these projects that we're doing lead to, high altitude balloon projects. And the reason that I have not talked a lot about the high altitude balloon work is because I don't want someone to watch the video and then go do it and like cause an accident or cause a fire or something, and then, you know, me get in trouble. I will show you, if you will pause, I will show you our latest Eagle 10. Yes, I will come back. Don't give up on me. Here I come. Okay, so this is our Eagle 10, and I will show you here, if I can, what it looks like inside. It's a little disarray because there was some work being done on it. And then you can see it's got an Arduino, it's got a Raspberry Pi, it's got a Raspberry Pi camera coming out the side there that's on a servo so we can control position. And then we have a Wi-Fi radio that we have provisioned to operate on the 2.39 gigahertz ham band, and therefore we beam live data back from our space mission, live video. So someday, if you really want a live chat on our high altitude balloon project, I can do that. I can't make it in the form of a tutorial because, again, somebody is going to do something stupid one day, and I do not want it to come back to me. Well, I just did what he said. Well, no. It's very, you got to worry about the law. You got to stay legal. And besides staying legal, you have got to be very concerned about safety issues. Channel deleted. It's 45 and I am watching your live stream. Very good, very good. Sir, who is with you in your profile picture? I want to know the story behind it. It is a Maasai warrior. Real Maasai warrior. Real spear. Okay. Not a man to be toyed with, but did get to spend some time with the Maasai. Love the Maasai people. I also really love the Samburu tribe. The Samburu are just some of the most amazing people in the world. The Samburu that I visited, it's like they had never seen a white person before, and they didn't even have a concept of money. They didn't know that the world was round. They didn't know that the world was big. You know, they'd never been more than like 5 miles from their village. And so it was really spectacular getting to meet the Samburu people. Very, very gentle, very, very wonderful people. Okay, that's a good crazy question, Jalal Wooded, about the guy in the profile picture. That was good. Samyat Jain, let's see, sir, can you please make a video on copying the uploaded code from Arduino and again read it? Oh, were you saying to try to get the code off the Arduino? I don't think you can do that. I don't think if you're saying like you downloaded the program and now you want to retrieve it, because sometime I've downloaded it and then lost the program and tried to retrieve it. I do not know how to do that. David Vail, can you update how to become a successful engineer playlist, or can you make a vid on how to get straight A's in engineering school? Well, man, I really tried to do that in that series. Like number one, stay away from the, number two, stay away from the, alcohol. Number three, stay away from girls, like, or, stay away from becoming emotionally entangled with someone while you are in college. It's just all engineering all the time, work hard, get that degree, get those good grades, and then the rest of your life. I got married after college and have had a wonderful marriage for the last 30-something years. Marital bliss, each day happier than the day before. Okay, because I took care of my business in college, then went out, got a good job, got a good wife, and then enjoyed things after that. The problem is people go to college and think that they can party and do well in school. I just don't think that you can do that. All right, Ravi Thakur, how to read data in Arduino to RFID. I've not done an RFID project yet, so I do not know how to do that. Yash G, hey sir, I am Yash, your make best stuff, and you are a great teacher. You're a great teacher. I have learned Arduino from you. Hey, great, Yash. Thank you for making this stuff. Well, thank you for watching. I wish I can meet you and give your number. Well, maybe someday we will run into each other. How come you moved to iced coffee? I think we talked about that. It is very hot here in Texas, and this is refreshing. Do you notice I'm getting towards the end of my coffee? I'm getting towards the end of that. I had a really nice Gaggia super automatic cappuccino machine in my classroom here. You just hit a button and you get a coffee, hit a button, you get a coffee, hit a button, you get a coffee. And I have coffee machines like that at home. But the one in my classroom broke, and so now I have to make a big mug at home and try to nurse it throughout the whole day. But this one, it is here 12:12, and I am already running out of coffee. So that is, in fact, a problem. Okay. Row it lower, sir. Make a video Arduino arrays with more examples. I think I had one towards the end of the old series, and it'll be a while before I get back to that, but I will try to talk more about arrays. Brick Gammas, how is it that you are so smart and techy? It's just I always learn. Okay, number one, like in my house, I don't have a TV. Okay, there's no TV in my house. I don't watch TV. I don't watch movies. I don't watch sports. I am not a watcher. I am a doer. So what do? I make things, I build things, I design things, I learn things. You see, I'm always doing things that matter. I don't sit and play video games. I'll write programs. I'll design greenhouses. I will figure out, can I get more eggs from my chickens? How can I do my chicken coop? I'm always thinking, designing, building, but I don't waste time on computer games. I don't waste time on movies or sporting events. I don't waste time sitting and doing social media type of stuff. Okay, so choose wisely how you use your time. Okay, Veena Grish Kumar, apologize for my horrid pronunciation. I learn a lot from you. Well, thank you for learning. Andrew D, I watched the first series on the Arduino, but I find the interaction, i.e. doing the assignment, helps it stick. Good. Keep on doing what you are. Good. Andrew, you keep doing what you're doing as well. Henry Gashola, what's up? What you got going on behind you. I've learned quite a bit from you. This is what you're going to get to in about lesson number 52. It's that DHT11 sensor with an LCD display all together. And the point here is not so much about a temperature sensor. The point is how to start going from those crazy rat nest projects to where you start getting like really nice, elegant builds where things are neat. Okay, does that make sense? Okay, that is good. Whoa, Sunij Raj, thank you so much for your most generous super chat. You guys, I'm not here trying to get super chats from people, but it's really nice. I mean, it's like a tangible thank you, and so I do thank you, and that is just really that is really a great kind thing that you do there. Much appreciated. Okay, and I lost my spot again. Okay, I am sorry, but this thing is very hard. It jumps, and then I got to go carefully back. Okay. Okay, here I am. Arduino controlled hydroponics. Yeah, I've really been interested in trying to do that because I love hydroponics. What I like is I like eating healthy, and so I have a large greenhouse that's all computer controlled and all automated, and so without soil I grow all my vegetables, and I really love eating healthy and eating healthy vegetables. I don't eat any junk food. I just eat really healthy food. Most of what I eat I grow myself, and the stuff I don't grow myself I buy locally because I am kind of a health type of guy. And so moving into combining my love of hydroponics with my hydroponics and tech stuff in Arduino would be interesting to combine. Brick Gam is, do you watch Young Sheldon? Do not know who Young Sheldon is, so I guess that will be a negative. I got another crazy question. Very good. Can the universe explode? No, I think the universe will. I don't think that the universe will explode. I think it's kind of like already exploded, and we're kind of like in that explosion process. But no, I don't think that it's going to be a universe exploding. Quadband Technologies, which books will you recommend for me for science and technology? I am 16. I am just not into books because by the time the book is written, it's already out of date. And so I really like things like this channel. Find somebody good to follow on YouTube. Okay, find somebody good to follow on YouTube and follow them and learn along on fresh content. Good book to read? Yes, you ask, I will tell you the Bible. I read the Bible every day. It what has led me to be a happy person, a fulfilled person, a person with purpose in my life. I read the Bible. Okay, Lab Massey, I've got another crazy question. Have you ever seen a ghost? I have never seen a ghost, but that is good in the topics of crazy questions. Surgeon Sadula, can you return a value from interrupt to the loop in Arduino? You know, I have not done loops in a while, and I have not done interrupts in a while, so I'm not going to try to wing that one. I'm going to say I am not sure on that. Have you ever made a coffee machine using an Arduino? No, but on that Gagia Super Automatic, what we wanted to do was we wanted to connect it with this robot. We had like a turtle bot, and then what we wanted to do was have anybody could go on the internet and order a coffee in the building, and then the turtle bot would make the coffee with the Super Automatic, because the Super Automatic already just makes a cappuccino with one button push, so you would just need to hack into that switch and then have it where if a person PayPal'd and ordered the coffee, the robot would make the coffee and drive to them. We had the turtle bot, we had the coffee machine, we had everything. But what I just found was with this this robotic operating system, that the robot, as far as driving around the building, was just not reliable enough. Something would crash, like the system would crash, or it would get lost or whatever. So technology not quite ready for prime time. Sir, why don't you shave your beard? You are not less than Nick Jonas. Okay, since I don't have a TV and I don't get into popular media, I do not know who Nick Jonas is. I kind of like my beard because when I think, I can go like this. The beard helps you think. Okay. Use Sharma, sir, how have you sent signals to the high altitude balloon? With the 2.39 gigahertz radio, okay, and a high bandwidth connection. That means on the ground you have to point an antenna very, very precisely, because that thing is 70. Imagine we have an ambulance that we're driving. We're driving down the road at 70 miles an hour. That high altitude balloon might be passing through the jet stream and going 150 miles per hour, and we have to point our high gain antenna at that moving target within a few degrees to maintain the data stream. That is a very, very hard, my friend, that is a very, very hard technical problem, but we do it at 2.39 gigahertz. Lab Mastery, sir, if you see world getting destroying, then at that moment, what would you like to see? Okay, so this is, we like crazy questions. So let's say that you find out that an asteroid is going to hit the world tomorrow, extinction level event, everybody is going to die. What are you going to eat? I don't know where you are in the world, but here in Texas there is something called a Schlotsky sandwich. It's on a sourdough roll, and then it has like some ham and some pastrami, and then it has some olives and it has some cheese, and it is the most delicious sandwich in the world. Why I don't eat it normally is I don't eat bread, right? I'm keto, I'm paleo. I just eat a lot of fat and then a whole lot of vegetables, you know, high fat, high vegetables, moderate protein, no carbs. That is how I keep my boyish figure at 57 years old. But if the big one was going to hit tomorrow, I would head out and I would have a Schlotsky sandwich. King Ban, can you please teach me how to turn on an LED with a button? If I have not done that already, it is coming up in one of those Arduino tutorials. We talk about the push button. It's not as simple as you think. Well, I show you and it'll be simple, but you've got to use like some pull up or pull down resistors. Sir, how will you imagine yourself in jungle with no clothes? Well, I actually have a home in the jungle, but when I am in my jungle home, I do in fact wear my clothes. Okay, I do in fact wear my clothes when I am in the jungle, but I do have a home in the jungle. Maybe one day I will show it to you. I think games are too violent these days. What do you think? I think games are a total waste of time, because you're not doing anything useful. You are wasting your life away. Make something, do something, build something, create something. And you young people, you know, I see you sitting around a circle, like kids bring their lunch into my room and they eat lunch and they're sitting there like this. Ha ha ha, ha ha ha. You see, there's no face-to-face interaction. The interaction is between you and your phone, and the way you interact with a person is you take your phone from in front of your face and you put your phone in front of someone else's face. So you guys, you younger generation, man, you got to get off of these silly little memes. It's like you're taking a hit off of a crack pipe or something. You know, sit, put your phones away, talk to someone, interact in the real world. Don't waste your time on video games. Ribs and Dust. Hi, Paul. Thanks for making these videos. I'm a student going through high school. Hey, and your Arduino videos are great. Hey, that is great to hear that high school students are doing this. That's why I do this. Quadbrand. Are you on Twitter? No, I am not. Okay. I know there's a lot of crazy projects out there, but a lot of times I think those things are just showing off what they can do. And what I like to do is I like to build things up. So it took me like 52 lessons to get to the point to do this. But the point is not that you just copy what I did. The point is now you, because you did this with me through this series, you can now go do something on your own. And that's what I want. I want to not just do some crazy something that you copy me, but I want you to teach you how to do things on your own. Let's see, Miguel Rosa, hi, do you have a starting kit to start the programming? I would look in the link on my Arduino tutorials. There's a link to an eLego kit, and that is what I'm using. ML Lear, hi mister, you are a great teacher. Oh, thank you. I'm following you from Romania. Romania, I have never been to Romania. Okay, I did learn some Arduino with your tutorials. Great. Oh, thank you so much. Okay, please, sir, tell us about how you send signals to high altitude balloons. 2.39 gigahertz Wi-Fi radio, high gain antenna, and then very precise pointing. Where you are, you've got to make sure that it's legal, that you're doing things legally. We are in the US licensed ham operators, and we are operating on a ham band, and we are doing things by the book. But it'd be very easy to get yourselves in trouble when you start doing high gain antennas on Wi-Fi devices. Pravin Patel, sir, what is the real meaning reverse engineering? Well, it means like you look at someone else's project and you undo it and you figure out what they're doing and then you try to copy it. And so you're trying to figure out how somebody else did something. Sir, you're very helpful. Thank you so much from India. Niket Chauhan, thank you very much, sir. Appreciate it. Okay. And I got lost again here. Oh man, I hate it when this happens. Okay, again, Sunil Raj, thank you so much for your kindness. Fransbo 100, have you ever thought of designing any wearable technology? Have not really gotten into that. I thought it'd be interesting to make a little Raspberry Pi Zero with a Wi-Fi cam and kind of like have a live stream your day, like have somebody just walk around and just continue to live stream from a little portable device. That might be an interesting thing. Ashik Shikarva, hey, I just want to know, can Adafruit library for BMP 180 and BMBE? Yeah, but you know what, man? If I'm going to use Adafruit's library, I'm going to buy the sensor from them, just because if we don't, then they don't make libraries anymore. So I just kind of have a personal policy that if I'm going to use a company, a SparkFun library or an Adafruit library, I'm going to hook a sister up and I'm going to buy some stuff from her. Parshit Malhotra, I learned Raspberry Pi from you. All right, I thank you through Facebook account. All right, but you didn't reply. That's because there are over 100,000 of you and there is only one of mine, and so I cannot reply with individual help because I get hundreds, if not thousands, of requests a day. Aditya, okay. Atik Chauhan, sir, would you ever visit in India? If you'll then let me know, I'll be glad to meet you. I do not presently have the business to take me to India, but if I do, I will let you know. Saberduna, hi sir. Thank you for your videos. I love them and they help me so much. Well, good. David Vale, I read the Bible too. All right, we'll be going to Stevens Institute of Technology in Hoboken, New Jersey for electrical engineering. David, it sounds like you are on the right track in more than one way. Keep it up and stay in touch. Prakash Mocha, hello, sir. Yes, hello to you. Saberdona, what's going to be the next project for us in your agenda? Well, we're just continuing to build skills, right? It's not like I want to just go do a self-balancing robot and have you do the project. I want you to learn. So do you see how nice and elegant this thing is? I want you to learn how to build a project so then you can do whatever project you want, okay? Quadcopters again. Let's see. Greetings from Greece. Hey, Andreas Spanos. Never been to Greece, but that is one of the places I would like to visit. Anika Chauhan, sir, please, can you make a quadcopter? I cannot because it's too hard and I wouldn't want it to fly into your face and chop your face up if something went wrong. Videos on PLC, not exactly sure on that. The BeagleBone Black has two PRUs. What can you possibly do with these? What applications can they be used for? I really lost, Dennis, I lost interest in the BeagleBone Black because there was just no momentum going behind that platform. So I kind of do the Arduino or the Raspberry Pi. There were things I liked about the BeagleBone Black. I liked that you could do an analog read, but in the end, I have not used it. Can we code a drone? I do not want to do a drone, Mr. Adi Tim. Mudsasir Anasi, it's sad to see 100,000 viewers on garbage live stream, but only 50 here. Well, We have 50 good ones. I would rather have 50 quality viewers than 100,000 idiots. Okay. Do you know Dr. Michio Kaku? He is a physicist who is somewhat like you when he explains things. I've not heard of him. Okay. Sir, please make videos on Arduino, other Arduino sensors. Yeah, there's more sensor ones coming. Okay. And I lost my spot here again. Okay. Do you have do you have a favorite novel? I don't read novels because I just don't have time for stories. If I'm going to read something, I'm going to read something for a purpose. Do you have second jobs besides working at Top Tech Boy? I had a successful Silicon Valley high-tech company which allowed me to retire when I was 45. After being retired for 2 years, I got tired of being retired, so I started teaching high school. So now I teach high school, and Top Tech Boy is my hobby, not my means of earning an income. If I was trying to make a living on Top Tech Boy, I would be very hungry. Okay. I'm studying electronics engineering, BRC Toms. I'm studying electronics engineering. Should I buy a Raspberry Pi to learn things which would be useful? Yes, Raspberry Pis, Arduinos. Man, stop buying Xboxes and iPhones and start buying Arduinos and ESP32s and Raspberry Pis and keep learning. Get a 3D printer, right? Instead of buying an iPhone 10, buy a 3D printer. That would be my suggestion. Helder Sousa, what do you think about using free RTOS? I do not know what that is, so I cannot comment. Mudasi Ansari in India, rote learning is preferred over practical one. What is your opinion on it? Well, there's some things that you just got to do and you got to learn it through rote, but at some point you want project-based learning, I think. I think high school is the enemy of science. I think high school is the enemy of society. Right. They want, in high school, they want to teach you to follow rules as opposed to think independently. And what institution in the world is most closely aligned to the public high school system? Prison, okay? The teachers, they're like the prison guards. The principal, he's like the warden, okay? The superintendent, like he's in charge of multiple prisons. And you're kind of told where you can go, what you can do, how you can do it, and like everything is on lockdown. And so for my daughter, she never stepped foot in a high school. We homeschooled her. When she was about 15, she started college. She finished nursing school at a 4-year university, #1 in her class, and then she was hugely successful. So I kind of think high school is a waste of time, but don't tell anyone that I said that. I would try to be self-educated. For colleges, at least in the United States, what you need to get into college is a good ACT score. And so my daughter, having never stepped foot in a high school, got a very high ACT score, got right into college. Okay. Thanks for the lessons from Prakash Mocha. Yes, thank you. Mode Ayan, can you make tutorials on it? Yeah, I don't know a lot about I2C and SPI, so I kind of use it, but I'm not an expert. Gumvant Sani, sir, I learned a lot from you. Can you please do a series where you show I2C? I can use it, but I don't know a whole lot about I2C, but maybe in the future. Costa Staffy, greetings from Greece. Your Fusion Arduino lessons helped me. Great, glad to hear it. Rick Toms, will learning Raspberry Pi be beneficial for me as an electronic engineering student? Absolutely. What software, hardware would be used to transmit, receive data from a CubeSat in low Earth orbit? That is getting beyond what I should comment on because I'm not sure what the law is. I'm not sure where you are. I am not sure of those things. When I do high altitude ballooning, I do it at 2.39 gigahertz on a band that is legal for me to operate on. Sir, you look like Santa Claus. I get inspired from you. You can tell your story of coding hello world to space. All right, yeah, I look like Santa Claus. Okay, show me how. Is variable speed servo library the best way to move servos to different positions? I have not done that before, so I don't know. Okay, I lost my spot there. Okay, it's variable speed. Okay. Hi there. How about Arduino? Thanks to you. Thanks a lot. Could you tell us something about 16 by 2 LCD? I have not done 16 by 2 LCD with 16 by with I2C, but I do have an LCD here, which I do with the standard LCD library that comes with the Arduino. Mustafa Ashama, engineer, greeting from watching you from Nigeria. Nigeria, from Africa. I love Africa. I've not been to Nigeria, but I truly love Africa, and I'm in the process of trying to move over there because I genuinely love the people of Nigeria, the people of Africa. Maybe one day I will visit Nigeria. Aditya taught one Wadi. Hi, Paul. I'm 15-year-old. All right, in London. All right, I've been to London and really enjoy your videos. Any possibility to release series on solely on Python? If I do Python, it's going to be practical Python for circuits. It's not going to be this code warrior type of stuff. It's going to be how to practically use Python to solve problems. Okay. I can work with C++, Arduino, IDE, Python, still enjoy your physics much more. What should I do in the future? Man, it's good to do all the coding you're doing, but start getting down to components. Start understanding digital logic. Learn circuit design, learn circuit analysis, learn DC circuits, learn AC circuits, learn digital logic. Start learning more than just programming. Okay, but you're really on the right path, I think. Naftali Daniel, hey Paul, make a drone for us. Man, and that thing would be like a blender flying in your face if something went wrong. I am afraid to show people how to do drones because things could get ugly if a mistake was made. I'm a great fan of yours. Thank you. You've made me in the world of Arduino microcontroller. That's Naftali Daniel. Good, good. Henry Grochola, I don't know if you've seen my comment from before, but just wanted to say thank you. Thank you for the time on the channel. I've learned from you, even fixed a problem or two. Great, love to hear it. Jean Francos Gregoria, thank you. We'll appreciate the kind words. Bert Tormia, is there any software which an electronic engineer must know? There's a lot, but there's so much, it's hard to know where to go. SPICE is kind of a big one. Learning how to do some circuit analysis and some circuit analysis software is good. Okay. Sunnis Raj, should a good engineer learn different stuff from various fields? Yes, I think you want to have a broad base of expertise. When I did the nanotechnology work, that was mechanical engineer, so I was in my career electrical, but then kind of how I became famous was on nanotechnology. You could Google my name, Paul McWhorter, MEMS, Microelectromechanical Systems, MEMS, and you could learn a lot about stuff that I did in that. Okay, Yash D, do you know PUBG Fortnite? I do not know those things. I do not even know what they are. I do not know. Fortnite, that's a game, right? And you know I do not play games because I do not watch. I do things, and playing is not doing things. I do not know much about I2C. Henry Grachola, Data Tronogolf. Can you do some videos over Arduino 101 using Bluetooth? I fear Bluetooth. And Bluetooth never works very well for me, so I'm probably not going to do Bluetooth. The scientist formerly known as Nagil, do you listen to music? What band do you like? I like the Newsboys. I like to listen to gospel music. The Newsboys are my favorite. I also like Matt Redman. I also like Lecrae. Okay. Harris Ahmad, an electronic engineer must know MATLAB. This is true. Arduino, that's true. Python, that's true. And Raspberry Pi, Proteus, or Cat. Uh, I think Harris Ahmad is making a statement, but I would agree with him on those things. Arduino has made a lot of new boards. I am a little concerned about the direction Arduino is going, because always it's just like you buy an Arduino, you plug it in, and it works. And now it seems to be going in different directions, and you sort of lose that simplicity that made Arduino great. I'm concerned that they are going to lose that. So I stick with the Uno or the Nano. Mudassir Ansari, I'm working on a prototype that 3D prints a real home. Now that would be something. I'm able to build one-story building. I'm facing problems with the binder to use for the concrete. It would revolutionize construction. Keep us posted on that. Talk about amplitude shift key library. It's kind of problematic to me. I have not used that before, so I can't help with that. Show me how. Thank you for your honest answer. Okay, good. Lloyd Ayan, can you make tutorials on ESP? We've had that question several times. Eventually, but I don't know how to do it yet. Ian Cooper, are we going to get into Arduino libraries? Yes. Yes. How to install the library. The libraries that we use are mainly the ones that come with it, but when we get to this DHT11, you will have to install your own library. We will get to that shortly, in somewhere maybe the mid-40s on the lessons. Henry Gotcha, there is some good things in Africa as equal to bad things. There are some terrible things in Africa. There's a lot of misery, and it's hard to understand a country with such abundant, beautiful natural resources, year-round growing season, food falling from the sky, avocados, mangoes, food falling from the sky, abundant water, rich soil. How an area with such abundant resources could be so desperately poor and in such desperate conditions. There's a lot of misery in Africa. But nonetheless, I love Africa. Okay, I love Africa. Yeah, okay. Can you do a new Bible series? Would love to do it. Need to get over there and get back to that channel and make some more videos over there. Where do you live in Africa? That's a fair question, but I don't say, because kind of like safety type of things. It's pretty dangerous over there. So I tend to be low-key about exactly where I live, but I live in a very, very remote, kind of like tribal type area where like the people around me don't have electricity and don't have water. They take jugs and they walk long ways to get their water. You know, they chop things down and burn them to create heat. So very remote area. Ellen J, can you put this live stream on your main channel so we can watch it later? Also, what is your advice for phone interviews? Well, on phone interviews, just go back and watch my overall interview on how to be a successful engineer, and that would help you greatly, I think. Okay, I have lost my place again. Okay, can you, sir, have you made your own Python library? I've never done that. Naftali Daniel, I'm a physicist from Kenya, Africa. All right, Kenya. How do you get a job in Kenya as a physicist? I'm not saying that to be derogatory, but I think physicists are great. But how do you earn a living? I've been to Kenya many times. I would be around the area of Kitale, okay, is where I spent a lot of time. Spent a lot of time in Kitale, Kenya. Love the Kenyan people. Love Kenya. It is a wonderful country. But again, there's a lot of misery and a lot of poverty in Kenya. So how do you have like an advanced technology degree and kind of live in a country? Tell me how you make that work. Because like, I'd love to teach people in Africa a lot about Arduino, but then I'm not sure, like technology, engineering, all that, but I'm not sure how to turn that knowledge I could give them into a way to make a living. Het Thumar, without you, I can't learn Arduino and Raspberry Pi. Thank you. Pei Endall, hi Paul, I'm from Ghana. All right, another African. Your Arduino and Python series really helped me in some projects I undertook. Thanks a bunch. All right, tell me how you use this stuff in Africa. I would like to know. Do you know today is the birthday of Alan Turing? He made AI. Did not know that. Thank you for that. Tina Chaudhary, I'm your biggest fan. All right, thank you. Naftali Daniel, maybe you can start on Proteus designs for Arduino. See, I just don't know what Proteus is, so I don't even know what to say. Arun Sandhu, I'm from India. Could you make some videos regarding Raspberry touchscreen module? I will put that on the list of things to think about. Again, questions on ESP32. Think about it. Don't know how to do it yet. I learned more on your channel than in my school. Het Thumar, thank you. Tina Chadbury, I'm your biggest fan. Best teacher, okay. Have you heard about Blink IoT app? I have not. Are you religious, Mr. McCord? Naftali Daniel, I am a follower of Jesus Christ. So I am not religious. I am a follower of Jesus Christ. I work as a missionary and I work as a Bible teacher. So Naftali, hopefully that answers your questions. You guys can ask anything. Don't hate me if I answer the questions, right? I get the questions, I answer them. Greetings from Istanbul. I learned a lot. Okay. This is Simo Shabura. Suggest to a mechanical engineer who wants to make a master's degree in electronics. Man, just do it. Go for it, man. BRC Toms, can you bootload an Atmega 328 without an Arduino? I do not know how to answer that. Ian Embleton, hey there, sir. Still following your wonderful series, keeping off the vodka. Okay. Really helps me follow the instruction. Yes, we've had people add some extra ingredients to their coffee. That would be a no-no. That would be a no-no. Have you made your own sensors, MEMS, IMU? Yes, I did some of the pioneering research in MEMS, IMUs. I have like several dozen patents in the MEMS arena, but it's not something for the home player. It's something that requires a large integrated circuit manufacturing facility. So Ponus Reed, that's your answer. Ian Embleton, have had any experience with Home Assistant to automate your house? I have not automated my house. Okay. Man, and I just jumped over a bunch of them. Love your comments. Thank you. Have you ever tried solar panels? Not for Arduino projects. I do run my house on solar. I have about 6 kilowatts of solar panels where I power my house. Getting Ketchubi. Wanted to stop by and finish lesson 7 of Fusion. All right, good, learning good, so much. Do not die trying to learn Fusion 360. Okay, Stonekin, Arduino is a powerful tool. I did use Arduino in my load cell project for data mining. Okay, very good. I'm trying to go fast because I'm trying to get through these. I am going to have to wrap this up in a minute. We have been going for some time now. Just to say thanks, Julius Caesar Lacora. Just to say thanks, I'm still studying all the lessons. Good. Henry, by the way, could you someday make a lesson on using an IR thermometer? That would be interesting. That would be interesting. Costa Staffy, I'm a follower of Jesus Christ since I was 18. Now I'm 42, living trees. God bless. Glad to hear that. Okay, keep following, man, keep following. Quadband Technologies. Africa is not much into technology, and I think it is good for it because it keeps it away from concrete buildings over crud cities. Yeah, the problem is that Africa is so low technology. How do you help them just a little bit? Like, wouldn't it be nice if someone didn't have to walk 5 miles or walk 2 miles to get water? Or wouldn't it be nice if somebody didn't have to chop down a tree to make a fire? And the problem is kind of there's a mindset in Africa. Sometimes the mindset is more on chopping down trees, to where the mindset in the United States would be more about planting trees. And how do we change that mindset in Africa that just seems to hold people into poverty? But if you ask me, like if you dumped me into the middle of Africa and told me not to be poor, I don't know if I could not be poor, because I don't think knowing how to program an Arduino would allow me to make a living in Africa. So my heart, I have love for the African people. I would love to try to help pull them out of poverty, but I have not figured out what the key there is. Okay. Making an oscilloscope with an Arduino. I'm not sure I would know how to do that. Bert Toms, thank you, sir. May God bless you. Thank you, and God bless you as well. Vina, hi, I learned a lot from you. My recent project, a 4-bit decoder. Very good. That sounds good. Naftali Daniel, I know Katali, Kenya. Here in Kenya is quite tricky to get a job as a physicist. Yeah, I can believe that. Research centers are quite underrated. Yes. Okay, so we have stone skin bicycle is the key. It'll change the quality of many lives. Yeah, I think that, certain things have helped in Africa. So I think just having a bicycle could help. I think that also cell phones have increased the efficiency of Africa. Things are more efficient. One of the problems in Africa is just the lack of basic infrastructure like roads. So in Africa, there'll be a pothole that's this big around and this deep. In the course of a day, 5,000 vehicles will hit that pothole, and each one, let's say, does $10 worth of damage. And so that's $50,000 worth of damage from hitting over and over, people hitting that pothole. It would cost $1 to fix it, but nobody will take the dollar to fix the pothole that would then enrich overall the society by $50,000. I hope it makes sense what that illustration means, but they're very poor roads and there's very poor infrastructure. Also, I think people in Africa need clean water. It would be nice to have a little bit of access to electricity. Okay. Recommend a book to learn Python. I am not into books, so I would go to YouTube to learn it. Naftali Daniel, maybe you can help me secure a job in a research center or learning institution. I do not have any connections, and so I'm not going to be very interesting, very useful to you. Just got here. Can you do an episode with a thermistor and the math behind it in one? Okay, a thermistor is hard because you really got to have the data sheet to go with it. And I looked in the eLego kit, and the thing is, the eLego kit has a thermistor, but the problem is that it doesn't have the data sheet. So it gives you an equation, but it's not very useful for learning. Okay, I am jumping down to the bottom here. Guys, I'm going to have to wrap this up. We've been here for 2.5 hours, and I'm starting to lose my voice. I'm out of coffee. Leave a comment and let me know if you found this useful. We had 50 or 60 people watching, but we did get a lot of questions, and so we will look at that. Okay, Arun Sundi, I'm a follower of Lord Jesus Christ. Nice to know that you think high school is a waste of time. I am really for education, man. I am really for education. I just think that public high schools a lot of times are more about indoctrinating people and getting people to follow the rules and getting people to think the way they want you to think. And it's not a playground of independent thought, if you know what I mean. Okay, asking what I do when I go to Katali, Kenya. I work as a missionary when I do that. Are you using a LiPo battery? No, I'm using, well, I don't know. This might be a LiPo battery. I don't know what this battery is, to be honest with you. I do not know. All right, I'm trying to get through these questions. Man, you guys keep asking questions. Forever Learner, I lost your question. How are you making your video with your breadboard in front of you? I have more than one camera. I have multiple cameras, multiple shots. You see, I can show you a code view. I can show you schematics. I can show you an overhead. I can be small. I can get in your way where you can't see the project, or I can be just right. So I have a lot of different shots that I can do. I am losing an ability to keep up with your questions. Greetings from Belgium, Joe Grow, thank you. Hey, sir, big fan. You teach me a lot, and I'm your biggest fan. Okay, thank you, Yash D. Julia Caesar Largo, do you have a schedule for live streaming so we can be informed? I will probably try to do a better job in the future of giving you guys a heads up. I just wanted to try this. It's a little hard to launch one of these things from the software that I'm using, so today was a little bit of a test. All right, guys. Paul McWhorter from TopTechBoy.com. Really appreciate all your comments, and I will talk to you guys